They erased me from my grandchildren's lives for 13 years. Not with a fight. Not with a scream. With silence. No birthday cards. No school plays. No hugs. Just nothing. But today I live in a 15-bedroom estate just miles from their home. And they're the ones begging to come back in. This is the story of how I turned silence into strength, pain into power, and heartbreak into the sweetest revenge of all. If you've ever been cast out by family, if you've ever been told you don't belong, hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video. Because what happens next isn't just justice. It's a masterclass in quiet resilience. This is the story of how one grandmother fought back, not with anger, but with love, strategy, and unshakable patience. Let's dive in. My name is Vivien Clark. I'm 62 years old. And for 13 years, I lived in a house filled with silence so deep, it echoed. No laughter. No tiny footsteps. No birthday candles being blown out. Because my grandchildren, Ethan and Grace, had no idea who I was. The fracture began slowly. My son, Matthew, was once my closest friend. After his father, my husband, passed, we leaned on each other. And when he met Caroline, I welcomed her. I baked her favorite pie. I invited her to holidays. I thought she was family. But she wasn't. She was a strategist. First, it was small things. Let's spend Christmas with my parents. Then, maybe we should skip the family dinner this year. Then, phone calls stopped. Visits vanished. And then, 3 days after my husband's funeral, Matthew called. His voice was cold, distant. Caroline thinks we need space. The kids are confused.
Too many people around.
I begged. They need stability. They need love. He said, they have that. They have Caroline and me. And just like that, I was gone. Birthday cards I sent came back unopened. Christmas gifts returned with a note. Not appropriate. I lived 45 minutes away, but might as well have been on Mars. People said, why don't you go to court? Demand visitation? But I knew better. Family isn't won in a courtroom. It's built in moments. In trust. In love. And I wasn't going to lose them forever by fighting the wrong way. So I waited. And while I waited, I built. At 50, I started a textile business in my apartment. Sewed samples by hand. Pitched to clients who laughed in my face. Too old. Too inexperienced. But I kept going. Years passed. My company, Clark Textiles, grew. Showrooms. Partnerships. A full empire. By 60, it was worth over $15 million. And when I sold it to Hartwell Industries, I didn't retire. I bought a 15-bedroom estate, just miles from Matthew's home. Every room was designed for Ethan and Grace. A library. An art studio. Gardens. A place that whispered, you belong here. This wasn't just a house. It was a declaration. And then the moment came.
A rainy Thursday.
I was in the library, sorting old letters I'd written to my grandchildren, when tires crunched on the driveway. Out stepped Caroline. Same polished coat. Same fake smile. But her eyes, tired. Desperate. Vivien, she said. It's been a long time. 13 years, I replied. What brings you here? She stepped in, scanning the chandelier. The marble, the art. Envy flickered. She masked it fast. I thought it's time we reconciled. The children are nearly grown. They should know their grandmother. I almost laughed. And what does reconciliation look like to you? She hesitated. Well, you could live with us. We'd fix up the pool house. You'd have your own space. The pool house. She was offering me a servant's quarters. Tell me, Caroline, I said softly. Is it really the children you're worried about? Or the bills piling up on your desk?
Her jaw tightened.
The mask slipped. We've had difficulties, she admitted. College is expensive. We thought since you've done so well. You want me to fund your life? I finished. Silence. I won't be living in your pool house, I said. But I'd love for you and Matthew to visit my estate sometime. On one condition. If I re-enter my grandchildren's lives, it will be on my terms. She left. But not before I saw it, fear. Her wall was cracking. And I had the perfect opening. Westbridge Academy. The private school where Ethan and Grace studied. Prestigious. Competitive. Always hungry for donors. I wrote a check so large, the headmaster came to thank me. But my gift had a condition, a mentorship program for exceptional students. And guess who topped the list? Ethan Clark. Grace Clark. No manipulation. No force. Just opportunity. And when the day came, I walked into the academy library, dressed not in power, but in warmth. Navy suit. Pearl necklace. A scarf my husband once gave me. And then they walked in. Ethan, tall, serious, carrying the weight of silence. Grace, small, clutching her sketchbook, eyes cautious. Mrs. Clark, Ethan said formally. Please call me Vivien, I replied gently. We talked for 2 hours. Ethan dreamed of renewable energy. Grace wrote poetry about things people don't say out loud. My heart shattered. She was my granddaughter. And she turned to words because no one had given her a voice. As they left, Grace paused. Why haven't we met before now? I took a breath. Sometimes adults make choices that keep families apart. But I'm here now. And I hope we can choose each other moving forward. They walked away. And for the first time in 13 years, I felt hope. Caroline didn't stay quiet. A week later, she stormed into my home. You think you're clever? Mentorship programs? Donations? Do you think I don't see what you're doing? I'm helping students, I said calmly. Ethan and Grace happened to be among them. You're manipulating them, she screamed. Where were you when they needed you? I was there, I said, voice steady. Every birthday, every holiday I wrote. I sent gifts. You made sure they never saw them. Don't talk to me about absence. You built it.
She left.
But the battle lines were drawn. Then she filed a restraining order, claiming I was harassing her family. The day of the hearing, I walked into court alone. But not weak. I placed a box on the table. Dozens of return letters, every one marked, return to sender. Gasps filled the room. Then, the courtroom doors opened. Ethan and Grace walked in. They asked to speak. Ethan, we're not being manipulated. We're being told the truth. We want a relationship with our grandmother. Grace, she's the only one who ever believed in who we could be, even without knowing us. We want her in our lives. Caroline's face went pale. The judge tapped his gavel. The petition is denied. There is no evidence this woman poses harm. On the contrary, she has acted in good faith. And then they ran to me. For the first time since they were children, I held them. Not in dreams. In reality. A year later, Ethan runs a renewable energy startup. Grace has a scholarship. Her poems are published. Matthew lives in the pool house on my estate, a reversal of Caroline's cruel offer. We have coffee. It's awkward, but honest. Healing. Caroline? She left town, chasing a life built on lies. I don't celebrate her downfall, but I don't mourn it either. Some people can't be changed. They must live with the emptiness they create. Now my house is alive. Laughter. Music. Silence, but not loneliness. The sweetest revenge? Not destroying someone else. It's building a life so full of love, truth, and dignity that lies can't survive beside it. If this story moved you, if you've ever been told you don't belong, hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Leave a comment. Have you ever been cut off by family? What gave you the strength to keep going? We read every one. Because stories like this, they're not just about revenge. They're about rising.
And rising?
That's worth fighting for.